Nintendo Switch 2 trailer and answering the question, is this video game console worth your 5 to 9 hours after your 9 to 5? Welcome back to the Grow Up Level Up Gamers Club. Let's get right into it. Awesome, awesome. Hello, Jordan. How are you?
I'm doing well, keeping alive in this blizzardy weather we have here in Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh yeah, you were letting me know right before the show you were encountering something called a squall,
That's
like the bird.
yes, that's right. We had yesterday. The screenshot I sent you was misleading because it was actually from yesterday. We
Ah,
had a snow squall watch, which I had never heard of. Sorry, in my all my years in Alberta, I would have just said it was typical blustery, wintry weather. But apparently, it's a thing, and we had one yesterday. So
amazing, amazing. And hey, if it's your first time here, welcome to Grow Up Level Up Gamers Club. My name is Samson. That's Jordan. We don't usually talk about the weather, but it's a special occasion because we are live on YouTube. If you're watching live, definitely
mhm.
say hi in the chat. And on Grow Up Level Up Gamers Club, we like to talk about the reviews, topics, previews, all the hot things that happen in the games industry and answer the question, is this video game worth your 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5? Now, today's episode will be a little funny because we're not really reviewing, previewing, or answering a topic of anything. We are going to look over the Nintendo Switch 2 trailer and deduct as much as we can from it, and maybe we will answer the question like, is this worth your 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5? I was telling Jordan off air that I had to convince two of my coworkers not to buy Switch 2s this past, or Switches this past holiday, because I was like, the new one's coming like real soon, guys.
Yeah.
Just wait a couple more weeks. So in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Switch 2, the design, the hardware. We're gonna go frame by frame on the Mario Kart game, kind of
Woohoo!
see what's going on there, what's happening there, and then maybe talk a little bit about our dream games coming to the console. Since it's Nintendo, we can kind of have a
Mhm.
guess, but it's always fun to guess. Before we get into it, I want to go over some housekeeping. Not too much, as always. If you like what you listen, if you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and also share this with somebody you know, somebody who might enjoy two dudes from Western Canada just yapping about games.
Yep, yeah.
That's right. Some upcoming stuff this Tuesday, actually. So today is the 17th, by the time you're listening to this, of January 2025. On Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, at 5 p.m. Pacific, so whatever time that is, I will be co streaming the New York Video Games Chronicle Game Awards. My friend Ryan over at NYVGCC has nicely invited me to co-stream the event there. So tune into this channel. We'll have some celebrations. It will be after work for me. So hopefully that will be kind of fun. So check it out on our channel. We're going to live stream and see who won what awards from the New York Game Awards. Awesome. And it will go on until about like 10 p.m. Pacific. So I think even if you missed the beginning, we'll still be there. And then hot off the press, our second housekeeping.
Woohoo!
Uh, there, did, Jordan, did you know there's a Canada Game Awards as well happening
You
in
know what?
February?
I did not know until earlier today.
Same. Somebody, a colleague of mine, put it on their story, and then I'm like, perfect. This sounds awesome. So we will also be covering that in some fashion. I don't know if we'll do another live stream. Still working out those logistics, but just so you know, there is a Canada Game Awards. You can find them
Mhm.
at cgameawards.com or C Game Awards on all the socials, it seems like. And it sounds like this Game Awards is just more focused on Canadian developers, which,
Mhm.
if you follow games in North America, that's like 90% of them are based in Canada.
Yeah.
Shout out to BioWare in Edmonton.
Yeah, and
Edmonton,
some
right?
yes, that's right. Bioware is in Edmonton. They also have a location in Austin. The only reason I know that is because I've looked at their job postings many times. Um, but yeah, this year's going to be a good year for it as well. Canadian games this year have had or Canadian game developers, I should say, have had a banger year. In case you didn't know, Balatro is developed by a Canadian studio, I'll say. It's one or two people, but it's still a studio, still their company. But yeah, I believe Local Funk is the developer, and
Yep.
they're Canadian. There's another one that I saw up there. Animal Well is nominated for a couple things, or the studio behind Animal Well. I had no idea that was Canadian, but they
It's like,
are
there you
nominated.
go
So
as well. Yeah.
yeah, some big ones this year.
Lots of folks. And yeah, from being from Vancouver, like every game development probably has
Yeah,
some involvement in Vancouver as well.
yeah.
So definitely tune in for that. It'll be interesting. It's my first one, so I haven't seen it before. I don't really know what the format is like, but it looks cool. Support video games, support other folks making video games. It
Also,
is what it is. Yep.
like, come on, Jeff Keighley, you are Canadian. How are you
That's
not a part of
true.
this, bro? Come on, represent here. Naomi Kyle, where are you at? Come on.
Very true.
We got some decent Canadians in the games industry, big names, and I don't see any of them affiliated. Why not? Huh? What's going on here?
I was gonna say Jordan or this Samson and Jordan guy on Gamers Club.
Hey, you want this
hit
thing
us
to go
up, we'll pull up.
nuclear? Yep, that's right.
Hit us up. We'll pull up. We'll fly over.
Yep.
Anyways, you didn't come to hear us vouch for ourselves, volunteer ourselves into this. We're here to talk about the Switch 2. Finally, after what feels like years of waiting, Nintendo.
Sure does.
I don't really know if they announced it, but they kind of confirmed it. like it's kind of coming. But they did let us know a couple details, which, if you were following all the leaks and whatnot, I think all the leaks got it pretty right. But before we get into it, Jordan, would you mind watching the trailer one more time? I don't know how many times you watched it today.
I would not mind. I watched it at least 6 times, I'll say.
Oh, wow. That is...
I don't know. I picked a number. I have watched it a bunch of times, though, because, lots of fun
interesting.
stuff.
Did your research. Well, this is actually only my second time watching it. So
oh, my gosh.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
Before I hit play, I just want to let the audience know that we are watching the chat. That means if you want to be part of the show, if you want us to read your comment, just type it in the chat. We will respond. We're watching it. We love to do or try this live format and see if it works for our podcast. So if you think it works, you like having your name shouted out on stream, definitely type in there and get those comments in. And let us know what you think of the Switch 2, of course, any features and whatnot.
And one other thing I'll mention. I'm actually going to pull up the chat this time on my phone, which I did not do the last time, and I'll keep an eye on that. And if my internet tanks, then don't yell at me. I'll quit the YouTube app on my phone so that it's not hogging all the bandwidth. But there you go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to do the same here, but let me set it up on the stream. Here we go. Switch 2 trailer.
All right, let's rock. First look trailer. All right. Nintendo Switch 2.
So it turns out Nintendo makes this.
Wait, I thought this was Microsoft. Do we have sound on the stream here? Yep, we do.
Oh, cool. It does feel like an Apple ad.
Sure. And then it's just this light thing that comes in. So cool.
Sure, there's a name for it. It's like sound that plays with sound effects. So, podcast listeners, you can kind of guess what's happening by the random sounds, but no, we're watching.
Things are growing.
Yeah, we're watching the Switch 1 grow into Switch 2. Almost like a body part. All right, so it's got buttons. It's got joysticks. It's got a little dock, and this we'll talk about in a second. Not just drifting. Gonna attach it to the console, of course. It's less of a slide and more of a snap. What that? Obviously called the 2 Nintendo.
The
Nintendo Switch. Oh, and we get our first little preview of Mario Kart here. Looks like Mario Kart. Can't say I noticed anything that pops up right away. You get the entire display. Comes with controller, the dock. Pretty much the leaks all nailed it. And confirmed for this year.
2025.
Very nice. Backwards compatibility confirmation.
For the most part. little asterisks on there, but that's
Yeah.
okay. We'll talk about that.
Oh, well, okay. And Nintendo Switch Direct 2, Nintendo Switch 2 Direct will
April
be in April.
2nd, right?
Was it
Said.
April 4th
I
or
thought it
April
said
2nd?
2nd. It's a
Right?
good point. Format wise, I don't know.
It confused me. I was half awake when this first came out. Yeah, why don't we kind of dive into this?
Mute that bad boy and let it play or something. We can pause it
Yeah.
and
Yeah, why don't
etc.
we just let it play and why don't we chat? Um, Jordan, can you kick us off? What did you think of the of this Switch 2 reveal overall before we get into the nitty gritty?
So first things first, we have here, it starts off with the old Switch, separates it into the three core components, of course, the two Joy-Cons, and then the middle piece being the screen. And the first thing you see is, of course, the screen gets bigger. And I think nowadays, in a world of uh, Steam Decks and PlayStation Portals and ROG Allies and whatever the LG one is called, and all these different sort of portable computing devices. I think they convey perfectly in that moment. Hey, this thing's bigger than the last one, because at the time when the Switch One launched, I think for a lot of people, it was kind of like, this is a massive handheld, compared to the DS, the 3DS, even the XL. Of course, that was big, and phones in our pocket, uh, easily bigger than those as well. But I think it kind of set the bar, and then of course now, fast forward a couple of years, and we get the Steam Deck, we get all these competitors, and they can go bigger, right? So I think it's off to a banger start with that. Eventually, the controllers come in, or the Joy-Cons come in, and of course they're upsized as well. And I think that's probably my number one complaint about the Switch One, was the
Mm.
size of the Joy-Cons. Now, obviously, you know, I'm always going to go for a bigger screen, but the Joy-Cons really just sometimes felt puny. So I'm really impressed with that. So, what about you?
Let's see. First impressions. I think when I was watching this, like I said, half awake, waking up, I'm like, it's finally here. And I was just watching it half awake while brushing my teeth, really.
Mhm.
Perfect. Two
I
minutes, right?
exactly
Perfect
the
for
same
brushing
thing.
teeth.
Yeah,
Um, I think I was like, okay, so that rumor's correct.
maybe
That
pause it
rumor's
there,
correct. Oh, yeah.
just
Uh,
on the two devices, so you can see them side by side.
oh, true. Good idea. So yeah, I was like, okay, that rumor's correct. That rumor's correct. That rumor's
Hmm.
correct. And personally, I was sold on the Switch 2 long time ago. I'm like, I want to play Pokemon, but like it's giving me a headache, the original one,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Scarlet and Violet on the original Switch. So I'm like, all right, everything looks good. Um, I was just like, it's like, all right, everything looks like exactly what the leak said. It's more
Hmm.
powerful, it's bigger, which I like personally.
Hmm.
It's got new gimmicks, but then that I was really hoping for it's available in 2 months. Like that April date
Oh
was going to
wow.
be like available in April, a little
Hmm.
presentation in February, and then to give us that 2 month leeway. But seems like we're a little farther out than that.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. It's like it's almost like an Apple upgrade where and maybe it's just this first impression because they didn't tell us any games or
Hmm.
any of the new gimmicks and features. But I'm like, okay, yeah, this is just a better Switch. This is the
Yeah.
Switch 2, which is exactly what I wanted. So I guess I'm just whelmed. I'm whelmed on the more positive side, if that
That's
works.
and I think, I mean, in this day and age, that makes sense, because there were so many leaks and hints and rumors, and obviously coming hot off of CES in Vegas just a couple weeks ago now. This thing was all but confirmed. We'd seen 3D mock-ups. We'd seen 3D prints that accessory companies were using as display models of something for their
Yeah.
products. And it was just like, well, okay, you guys obviously know exactly what this is. You're not making peripherals or, cases, protective
Yeah.
cases or travel cases without knowing the exact specs you need it for.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I mean, I think that that's honestly pretty accurate, just given how much we already knew about it. But I also think that, um, it's, to me, it's almost, I would say it's more comforting than it is
Comforting.
a, a feeling of being whelmed, because to
Okay.
me,
Yeah.
the big risk here was that Nintendo goes away from the Switch. Of course, in Nintendo's history, They went from the NES to the Super NES or the SNES, and that was probably the most iterative console they had made, where it basically took the old one, made it better. Um, the jump to N64, the jump to GameCube, the jump to the Wii and the Wii U, and then the Switch, those were all pretty dramatic shifts in what Nintendo was putting out. Obviously, you could not play a lot of those games on the next generation console. Now, obviously, as we get into the Wii and things like that, you actually could. Um, but I think this is, again, I would use the word comforting to see that, hey, we know how great the Switch One was. We're going to do that again, but make it better. And I do think, I've also seen online a lot of people talking about the fact that, yeah, it's the Switch, but grown up. It's got its first suit on for its first real day on the job kind of thing. And I really like that. It's still got a little bit of flair with the color under the thumbsticks and the color on the insides of the Joy-Cons, which I appreciate. It's almost like a callback to the first generation, without being too direct. But I
Mhm.
also think just, I mean, again, we're basing this off of a little trailer and everything, but form factor wise, it just looks more comfortable. The size is going to be better and bigger. They're kind of aging it up with a lot of people who probably the Switch was their first console or their first major console. Um, so yeah, I think the word I would use is comfortable. It makes me
It's
feel a
safe.
sense of comfort. It is safe.
Safe or okay?
It is
Feeling of
safe,
comfort.
but I don't think
Interesting.
that's bad, I
Oh.
mean, hey, I'm typically a PlayStation gamer, and I can always trust that after the PlayStation number is going to come the next PlayStation number, right? I like that. That's what I look for.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, it does look like it grew up,
it
and I really
does.
like the point you bring up that it's
I'm so
like,
proud.
yeah, right. It's like oh, when the Switch came out, it was just for babies, and now it's
Hmm.
for teenagers who are a little edgy and cooler, but it's still got that kiddish flair with the color.
Hmm.
Yeah, like okay, if you didn't tell if this Mario screenshot wasn't there, just
Hmm.
referring to our shared screen here,
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
and like you like maybe those accented, maybe you don't even point out that there's little colors in the thumbsticks.
Hmm.
This could pass as just any other like Steam Deck, Legion, Asus, ROG. Like
Yeah,
it could just look like any other handheld thing, which is like
I was gonna
uh,
say this.
chicken
This
and
could
egg.
this
Yeah.
could easily be the Amazon $100 emulator.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
Those.
the the Swatch, the Nintendo Swatch, and it plays only the most legally downloaded ROMs and that
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? It could definitely, if you blanked out that image of Mario in the center, even with the color on the Joy Cons, it's almost like it's hinting at the Switch, but it's not
Hmm.
quite the Switch. It's a little more professional looking. This you could play this on the train and nobody would judge you because those two side things aren't red and blue, right? But
It's
yeah,
it's it's funny that you mentioned the train thing too, because I'm like, if I were to walk by somebody playing this on public, would that scream Switch to me?
yeah,
Like like
totally.
like like the iPhones now. It's like
Hmm.
would this iPhone would somebody just walking by be like, "Oh, what's that?" Or are they just like, "Oh, that looks like an iPhone."
Yeah,
Whereas this one is like, "That looks like a gaming computer or gaming
totally.
computer, gaming handheld."
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting that they went the safe route, the comfortable route,
Hmm. Hmm.
which like, and I agree. Sounds like I'm giving you shit for it, but I'm just like, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted, right? Like
Hmm.
this is exactly what we need. The world needs is a more powerful Switch.
So true, so true.
So
Something to
speaking
play
of,
Pokemon at a steady frame rate.
oh my gosh, don't get me started. I want to play Pokemon without having a headache anymore. Take me back.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, speaking of power in the
Hmm.
Switch, do you want to go over like what kind of performance we could expect from the Nintendo Switch? Or should we talk a little bit more about the features first and what we think the features are?
I mean, I don't know how
Or
much
better.
is confirmed. I guess that's the big thing, right?
Mhm, mhm. Why don't we yeah, why don't we hold off on the power and let's go
Sure.
back to some of the features. I'm just clicking through the video here for you
Hmm.
audio listeners. Come over to YouTube, or if you're watching on Spotify, you might be able to see it on the Spotify feed.
Mm.
So, first thing that stuck out to me uh, was two USB ports. I don't know if you noticed
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
I did. There's one on the top and one on the bottom, I hear.
And like I've seen those on some of the gaming. So if you're watching a video, the one on the bottom just popped up, and then it'll scroll, and yeah, a second one
Hmm.
pops up on the top, which is very interesting because I don't think you need to plug two USB thingies into to charge at one time. Would that give you
It's
a faster charge? Probably not.
it's actually for the Rumble Pack.
Oh, you think it's an accessory
I
kind
don't
of
know.
slot?
I'm purely guessing. I think I heard. Actually, I can't recall what I heard. I heard someone mention something about it, but maybe potentially for video. I guess it does video out through the dock, so
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it can be a second screen. Connect your laptop to it
Oh,
and use it as a second screen or something.
that'd be interesting. Or you know
Yeah.
what? They're gonna bring back the link cable. You can plug
Yes.
two USBs from the top
You
together,
know, that
or
actually wouldn't surprise me. You plug it into another switch with someone right next to you, and you can, I don't know, play Four Swords together or something.
yeah, it's like you could just do it wisely.
Yeah, you
But
can just do it over the internet now. But
I just thought of this. What if it's um like in Xbox 360 days when you bring your 360 to your buddy's house for
LAN
Halo and you
party,
start you LAN party, you daisy chain all the Xboxes together and have like 3-4 TVs in the living room.
that'd be amazing.
But yeah, actually the I can't believe I didn't think about this earlier, but you saying Rumble Pack and it being like an accessory port makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I literally just Googled it just to kind of see what people are speculating, and like
Okay, yeah, yeah.
dual USB-C ports are ideal for charging while listening to music or gaming. So it could simply be the fact that you can have it charging, so plugged into a charger, but if you have headphones that are USB-C, you can still have the headphones
Mm,
connected. Because of course that was one of the big complaints when the iPhone first dropped their headphone port. They didn't have USB-C, it was still Lightning at the time. But
right.
they dropped the headphone port and it was only USB-C, and people would complain that, well, I can't charge my phone and listen to music at the same time. And Apple said a big F you to all those people and proved them that they were totally wrong. And how many times does that actually come up as a
AirPods.
problem?
Yeah,
Exactly,
love
right?
mine.
Um, so you know,
Ryan, oh sorry, go ahead, finish.
no, you go ahead.
Ryan O'Callahan in the chat. Hello, Ryan from
Oh,
NYVGCC. We
the
will be,
worm light. Sorry.
reminder, we will be broadcasting the New York Game Awards next week on Tuesday, January 21st. So be there for that. Ryan says the worm light is back.
That is amazing. You know what?
Don't tell me you got one right behind
I
you.
won't run away from the desk, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly where one is, just sitting over there a little bit. So if it's not
Yeah,
over there, it's in a big old bin. But anyways,
I remember the worm light. It
Mhm.
was pretty nice to be able to play Pokemon in the dark. What a privilege it was to be
Driving in
able
the
to do
back
that.
seat of the car on the
Exactly.
late night
Yeah.
ride home. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe worm light. What's another accessory that can go in here? Rumble pack, kind of. So when we were talking about daisy chaining switches and Xboxes together, I was thinking like, I don't know if you knew about gaming PCs. Like this was probably 10 years ago, but there's something called SLI. I don't know what it stands for. It's called SLI, but you'd have two graphics cards that are the same.
Oh, sure.
They're stacked on top of each other in a computer, and a cable goes in between them, and now you have like double the power in
Boost
one
in
computer.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something crazy like that. Probably
Yeah.
not.
I mean,
Maybe-
it's hard to say. I really do like reading, that people are speculating it's whatever, so you can charge and use headphones at the same time.
Mhm.
That feels like an easy answer. That is like, well, yeah, that does make sense, doesn't it? But I mean, hey, like Nintendo came out with cardboard accessories, literal cardboard accessories this past generation. Like Nintendo's wild. Who knows what they could be cooking? Maybe Rock Band will suddenly come back and you plug your, I don't know,
Don't tempt me.
maybe, no, I was gonna say you just turn the switch on the side and play it like a little guitar, but then then the USB
You
port
plug
isn't
the
needed for
top
anything.
part
So
of the guitar.
yeah, exactly. Make this monstrosity or something. I
All
don't
right, I'm putting this out into the universe now.
know.
Yes, it's an attachable accessory. It is a second screen, and by plugging it into the top,
Oh,
you'll be
like
able
clamshell.
to play clamshell, play DS games
Gotcha.
again.
Okay,
DS and 3DS games again.
Nintendo
bringing
Switch
it back.
Online. That's one of the few things they have not touched yet is the DS and 3DS lineup. So interesting.
Yeah, quick aside. Have you heard about the rumor that the dock is like some sort of wireless dock? I was kind of thinking that too. Like it's a
Yes
wireless
and
dock.
no.
Oh yeah.
You go ahead. You explain it.
So it's supposed to be like a wireless dock, and then you can have the Switch on your lap in front of the TV, and the Switch will still be broadcasting to the dock slash TV, and that's another way to play
Hmm.
your 3DS and 2D and DS games. But I don't know. It's just a rumor. Just a rumor.
Yeah, as a second screen kind of thing. That would, and you know what? Honestly, that would make sense because when you think about the clamshell of the 3DS, DS, DSi, DS Lite, DS whatever, only one of those screens was a touch screen. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
your Switch 2 in your hand, that is your touch screen. TV display is your, second screen. So that could easily make sense. Yeah. What do you think? Just because you've got it on screen there,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about this dock?
Oh, the little shorter kind of curve of the
Mm-hmm.
dock
Mm-hmm.
looks different for different sakes. Like
Fair
they
enough.
can't do the exact same dock. I understand that.
Right.
Yeah, like that. Remember how I mentioned earlier? If you were to walk on a train and you saw someone
Mm-hmm.
playing a Switch 2, would you even know it? I feel like if you walk, well, other than the fact that it says two Nintendo Switch right on the front, I feel like if you walked into a home and then saw that, you'd be like, oh, that looks like a Switch, but a little
Yeah.
different. I wonder
Yeah.
what that is. Like that at least looks a little different, but I do feel like it's different for different sake. But what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know the current Switch. Does the current Switch pop out from the top a little bit? It must, eh?
I think it's pretty flush,
Let me just look
actually.
up Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
I'm just gonna
actually,
look
no,
for a
you're right.
picture.
I'm looking at one on my desk right now. It does peek over
It
the
does
top. So
peak a
maybe,
little bit, hey?
yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will look exactly the
Well,
same.
and I almost think that like I'm looking at the box of the original Nintendo Switch, and I almost like that the dock is the same shape as the Switch. They both have not sharp corners, but the slightly rounded corners, whereas this the dock appears to have quite dramatically rounded corners.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I like how it looks. It does look a little too contrasting for my personal feelings. But I did hear a rumor that perhaps with the larger screen and maybe more peeking out of the dock, there may be things like little displays that can go up there. Even if it's like the time up there or something like that. I don't know, your battery level,
Oh,
things like that.
like a ticker, like when the Wii
Yeah,
U lit up or something, or when the Wii lit up.
exactly.
Yeah, okay, I
And
can see that.
if that were the case, I would hope that there's a little more to it than that. I would hope that it's a little bit more fun, and I think I heard someone jokingly say online, like maybe Mario runs across it occasionally or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see stuff like that, just little turkey kind of stuff that doesn't really matter, but maybe whatever game you have in there, maybe every now and then a character just kind of peeks over the little edge and then hides back in, almost
Mm.
almost as a way like, hey, you want to play, and then or something like that, right? I don't know. You could have Mario pop up at one end and shoot a fireball down the thing or something. I don't know. I think that could be cute.
Yeah.
Useless, but cute.
Just something to show it's like not just a box that is in the living room. There's something going on in there, but yeah,
Now, do you
cute
want your
stuff.
display always online or always on? I don't know. Who there's something to be said about that, but
Mm.
I don't know.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. I like my DS idea. I like the
Yeah.
little passive display Google Home-ish kind of idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're just Nintendo. If you ever need more ideas,
Totally.
you know where to find us.
They call us
Leave a
the
comment.
Imagineers. No, that's
Oh,
taken, isn't it?
yeah, I think Disney owns that. While we are imagining things, let's imagine the specs.
Okay.
Switching over to
Oh, here we go.
this list that I'm pulling from the Game Post, written by uh, Abdullah Jawad. Thank you for writing this up. Here is the Switch 2 in terms of hardware. There is a lot of mumbo jumbo, but I'm going to quickly read it. CPU, ARM Cortex A78, 8 cores. We don't know the cache size. GPUs, some sort of NVIDIA T239 Ampere, and it's got a lot of CUDA cores, 2x ray tracing cores, which is interesting, and 12 gigs of RAM. And then you
Mm-hmm.
got some bandwidth in the handheld mode. I'm just going to skip over the numbers because we want the flops. So apparently in handheld mode, it's got 1.72 teraflops, whereas in
Mhm.
docked mode, it's got 3.09 teraflops. And that just means, according to other Reddit threads, that this hardware is somewhere between the PS4 Pro
Hmm.
and the Xbox Series S, which, in my opinion, is pretty dang good.
Yeah, that's a decent step up from what the Switch does currently, and kind of the first time that Nintendo has really made an attempt at competing in the market with PlayStation and Xbox since the Wii, really, right? The Wii is when it
Mhm.
kind of took off, and they decided to do their own thing. So
So it's yeah, it's pretty close, but obviously, like with the PS5
yeah,
Pro,
certainly.
there I don't know if it's like a
Even the
step or a step and a half over, but
even the
if
PS5 and the Series X, right? It won't quite compete with what they can do, but working within the limitations. I mean, we've seen Nintendo get some serious juice out of, even the current Switch, right?
mhm, mhm. I think Nintendo's never chased the power
No.
thing anyways, so it's not surprising it's not cutting edge, but I am a little surprised they are this close now, and there's something to be said about the grand scheme of things, how the like the jump between PS4 and 5
Hmm.
wasn't as crazy as say the jump between PS2 and 3
Hmm.
and 3 and 4 to an extent. So like
Hmm.
even though Nintendo is once again a generation behind, it doesn't seem like it's going to make too much of a difference this time. Like
Yeah.
Mario's still going to somehow have texture on his overalls and ray tracing. That'll be interesting to see. And all the games that work on PS5, like pretty much 90% of them work on PS4 Pro or Xbox Series S, especially. That's
Hmm.
probably a better comparison.
Yeah.
That was Xbox's mandate. So, like, I think by having this last gen
Hmm.
power, I think they'll do fine. I think there's going to be a lot of third party support here.
Yeah, and actually, that's a really good way to think about it as well. If you consider the fact that, hey, the PS5 and Series X aren't necessarily taking off at the same growth rate as maybe a PS4. Um, Nintendo chasing, like you put it, in theory, the last gen or the previous gen rather than the current gen, hopefully, ideally, just means that they're in a good position for a lot of third parties to look at their console and go, we could have a second wave of sales if we port to this thing, right? Our game is already out, or it's already been out for X amount of time on PS4, PS5. Now we can just move the PS4 version over to the Switch 2. Um, and it's not quite as graphically intensive as the PS5 version or what have you, but at least it's a version on there. It's another SKU for them to sell more copies. So
Hmm, hmm.
you can bet your Assassin's Creeds and your Call of Duty, maybe that's a tough one given
Halo.
Microsoft and everything. Yeah,
I think Call of Duty was supposed to come to Switch. It was part of that lawsuit
yeah, yeah. I know.
deal.
That lawsuit deal. But yeah, you could definitely see them making strides in that direction, right? Will the sales be there? Hard to say. You know, is this capable of playing Fortnite? Probably.
Oh, I hope so. I miss playing
Is
Fortnite
Fortnite on the
portably.
regular Switch? It
It
must
is.
be. It is. Yeah.
It
Okay.
is,
So
and
it
it is
definitely is then.
not
Yeah.
great.
Oh, really? Oh,
I
interesting.
mean, it's surprising what things are on there. Overwatch is on there.
I
Overwatch 2.
remember when Overwatch released on there and they put out like a trailer and showed someone controlling Junkrat's tire with the like tilt controls. And I was like, oh hell yeah. That's the dream.
That is amazing. So, yeah, I'm excited to be able to play like all of my favorite games portable again. Will I double dip? I don't know. The world's in a different place. I don't have that much pass or what do you call it? Extra income
Mm,
anymore.
yes,
So
I
we'll
hear
see.
that.
But back when the Switch came out, I definitely double dipped on a lot of games
Sure.
from PC and Switch. So
Yeah.
looking forward to that. Speaking of games, there is one game confirmed so far for Switch. Just
Elden.
one.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, well, you were about to say
Elden Ring.
it. Honestly, joking aside, I think that's a lock. I
I
think that
know.
game will come to Switch. Uh,
Obviously, you and I have heard that rumor, but I know with the Switch reveal, they had Skyrim, and it seems like
true.
this is the next sort of fantasy genre. Hey, look, this is a serious gamers game that
Mhm.
our console can play. It would make a lot of sense.
Exactly. So, well, other than Elden Ring, the other game confirmed for it is a little game called Mario Kart. Is it Mario Kart 9? We don't know yet, but calling it 9 probably makes the most sense if they're calling this one the Switch 2.
True.
And they teased it at the end. I don't think we're going to replay it again because I found a really great thread from an account on X called Puro Artistico. So
Wonderful.
shout out to Puro Artistico. They broke down most of the stuff in the trailer. So I think it's better if we just go frame by frame and see what they deciphered. So everything I noticed about the Mario Kart 9 teaser and the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal trailer.
Now,
It's a lot of numbers.
before
Yep.
you get into that, how much of a Mario Kart sicko are you?
Oh, that's a great question. Mario Kart DS, I
Hmm.
played a lot of.
Okay.
Let me tell you about this. I don't. I was gonna say like this underground competitive ring in my high
Whoa.
school.
Whoa.
Wasn't really underground. We actually met in the cafeteria, and there was like a mezzanine level, and then
Okay.
everyone just kind of hung out there.
Oh, okay.
But there was daily Mario Kart competitions where
Wow.
you would go and like with your DS,
Yeah.
like full parties and just race and get better and better. So on
Awesome.
Mario Kart DS, I did my time and I was snaking. I knew all the shortcuts.
Nice.
And then yeah, it was pretty sweaty, I would say, before
Okay.
being sweaty was a thing.
I love that.
Um, I think also on our band trips, we had one of the math teachers, also really good at Mario Kart. So there's a lot of Mario Kart in my school. Looking back, actually.
Okay, now tangent. What instrument did you play in band?
Oh, all the brass instruments. I played trumpet.
Okay.
Never good at it. Play tuba. A little better at that.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
yeah, everything in between. So it was
Fair
fun.
enough.
I also sang in choir, but those videos
Oh,
aren't on YouTube.
damn. We'll have
Maybe.
to get them up there.
So yeah, I played a lot of Mario Kart DS, and then since then, what was the one on 3DS? 7.
Yep.
That one was okay, and then
Hmm.
was there Mario Kart 8 is the newest one, yeah, or
8
the current
was
one.
on the Wii. Well,
Wii U.
Mario Kart Wii was on the Wii,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I think that was just called Mario Kart Wii.
yeah.
And then, yeah, 8 was on the Wii U. And then 8 Deluxe was the
Switch one.
re-release, remaster, whatever you want to call it, Switch one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So so other than Mario Kart DS, the other Mario Karts I just kind of played like at a party as friend stuff, but I wasn't as sweaty as I was when I was 13 and
Mm,
had nothing else to do.
fair enough.
um, but I do enjoy Mario Kart. I think it is one of the most like nice looking Nintendo games to just even look at and follow along.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I love all the creative stuff about it and like the tracks and just it's easy to play with friends as well. Like everybody gets it right away and there's always shenanigans, but it's never my go-to Nintendo party game.
Okay.
Like that's Mario Party or Smash or like yeah, something around like that.
Right.
But I see Mario Kart fondly and I'm excited for this new one and whatever gimmick and whatnot there is. What about you?
Fair enough. My Mario Kart history, first of all, does go back to Mario Kart 64, but
Wow.
only in the way that I would suggest Mario Kart 64 is an absolute garbage game, and Crash Team Racing is thousand million leagues better than
Hmm. Hmm.
Mario Kart 64. But that's an argument for another day. Um, the first one that I really got into was Double Dash on the GameCube, which I think a lot of people still to this day say it's maybe the best Mario Kart. I would say it's probably a personal favorite, but I do think that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best Mario Kart to ever come out. For me personally, it is the reason I got a Switch.
Oh.
The game came out, so I had a friend who, well, I still have a friend. I've talked about him on the show. Generally speaking, like Nintendo games are his jam, PlayStation is mine. Although we both play a lot of both. Um, and he's getting a Switch day one. I'm getting a PlayStation day one. He'll probably get a PlayStation day one too, but it doesn't matter. Um, he had a Switch since launch, and I was interested. Cool in concept, but like I never really play handheld unless I'm traveling. And even then, now that I'm usually traveling with a kid, playing games while traveling is just more and more difficult. Um, so I wanted a Switch, but didn't really care too much. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Oh no, wow. I'm talking Wii U now that I think about it. Because I'm thinking Mario Kart 8, the original Mario Kart 8 on Wii U. So I
Yep.
had zero interest in the Wii U. Now that I think about it, literally zero interest in the Wii
I
U.
mean, fair enough.
I had no desire to get one, and of course, my friend did get one, and tried to sell me on, hey, it's actually pretty cool. But like, I was just kind of like, yeah, I don't need this one. I didn't have a Wii. Never got a Wii U, and then I went over to his house when Mario Kart 8 came out, and me and my wife played Mario Kart 8 with him all night long. Went home, and the next day went to EB Games to buy a Wii U
Wow.
and Mario Kart. Literally, we had so much fun with it that night. We were like, we need this game. So we got it. And of course, we picked it up. And then what did we wind up doing that night? We went back to his house, not to play our copy of it, but to play Mario Kart with him some more.
Oh,
So then, we just kept on playing. We loved that game so much. And it very much was kind of a ha ha ha. One day we'll do a Grand Prix and we'll just play through all the courses. We'll just go, rather than 4, we'll finish the 4. We'll just do the next 4, the next 4, the next 4. And of course, that happened within like 2 nights. We just couldn't stop playing it, right? I think at launch there were like 16 tracks, maybe 24 at most. So it wasn't that many. But then, as of course DLC came out and they released more and more, we eventually just one night we marathon through like 48 tracks or something like that. And it takes a long time, but I love Mario Kart 8. And then of course Switch comes out. They release that as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And it's, again, the reason I got a Switch. We could not resist. And it's only gotten better in the Deluxe version, of course, because a lot of the DLCs didn't come to the Wii U. So yeah, if you were to ask me for one game that would get me to buy a Switch 2 on day one, it's Mario Kart.
yep.
So
Isn't it? Maybe you can fact check me on this. Is it still the best-selling Switch game? Maybe that's why they decided to lead with it.
I can't remember, but I know it's up there,
Okay.
and that's why they supported Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for so long rather than a new iteration. At least that's the rumor, right?
Very true.
Mario
Very true.
Kart.
Ryan again in the chat says double dash mode in Mario Kart 9 would slap.
If
Double dash
they-
mode.
If they released a double dash mode, I think that would actually be a
perfect.
really good idea and a really big callback that I think would pull in a lot of people.
Oh
I
yeah.
almost want to say in a similar way to now I'm not a sports gamer. What is the football game that came out this past year in 2024? NCAA football? NCAA football?
Yeah, it's an American thing.
And it was the first iteration, and you had, droves of gamers coming back to gaming who haven't touched
True.
the game since the Xbox 360 and things like that. I could easily see this being a similar situation.
Mhm.
People saying, wow, I remember playing Double Dash when for me, like I don't know how old I was. I'll call it 12. But that would easily get me back in. And I would love to see that as
You're
as a
already
mode
you
or
never
something.
left.
I never left, yes, but yeah, that would be
No,
insane.
double. Oh man, I didn't even think about double dash. Like, and Ryan, double dash was my first Mario Kart actually. Thinking now, back on the GameCube and growing up with 2 younger brothers, like how great was it that instead of competing with each other, we got to share and cooperate with each other in Mario Kart, and it was like easy enough that, and we were younger at the time, so it was easy enough that we were able to play and play well and play together. So yeah, double dash mode. And on the Switch, where there's already 2 controllers attached to it,
it'd be insane.
like you can just have 2 people play on one console against whatever online or whatever. Like, just it only makes sense. Yeah, double dash mode.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we figured out what the USB-C port is for. The double one. One person sitting in the front with their Switch, plug in, cord goes around the other person. They literally sit in front of you with their Switch in front, and you each get the viewpoint of the character on the cart in Double Dash. So like, I'm looking at my screen and I'm the person in the back. I'm basically staring at the back of someone's head.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
and every now and then I can throw a weapon.
But you're watching this guy's back in the head.
Exactly.
First person Mario Kart, it could work.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. So one more comment from Ryan. I played it through with my dad in middle school. He called me last week to play it, which was so sweet. Oh, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, Mario Kart with dad.
I did pull up from From Statista.com. So, I mean, who knows how accurate this is. Looks like this is January 9th, 2025. Okay, this is somewhat recent. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 64.27 million units. Second best selling after that is Animal Crossing New Horizon at
That's crazy.
46.5.
Yeah,
And this would be what, I guess, just best selling Switch games, I have to assume.
that sounds about right. Animal Crossing was a moment.
Top selling Nintendo Switch games worldwide 2024 is what this says. So,
but yeah, that was
wild.
the last year. Some would say the last year of the Switch.
Wow.
Yeah, quick aside for Animal Crossing, like my wife and I were talking about this. Like, will Animal Crossing pop off like that again for Switch 2? And my gut says no, because we will need another global pandemic for that to happen.
It's very true.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, going back to Mario Kart. Puro Artistico, please come back onto the stage.
Sorry, Puro. We went on a bit of a tangent there.
It's okay. It was important. So this is enhanced all that they found. First thing that they noticed about the new Mario Kart 9, I guess we'll call it, instead of just calling it Mario Kart on Switch 2. Mario Kart 9 is the characters got new models. And this kind of art style has been changing for Mario in a while. Maybe it's like the new generation coming in. But yeah, I think they said everybody looks cuter, in my opinion. Reminds me of how they looked in Mario Kart 64. If you look closely, DK has his design from the 2003 Mario film. So they changed 2023 Mario film. So they changed DK to look more like the movie counterpart, which does make sense because like by now a lot of kids have watched the Mario movie, I would assume. What do you think of the character changes?
I mean, I definitely see it, especially when you look at like side by sides of Mario Kart 8 or 8 Deluxe. Donkey Kong is probably one of the more dramatic ones, which Puro Artistico does point out in the next couple of tweets there, and actually compares the design to the Mario Kart, not Mario Kart, the Mario movie that came out. Was that 2023?
Yep.
Yeah. So, perhaps a bit of a unification across the different media landscapes that they're doing here. I don't know if I'm super crazy about it because it is almost like everyone's a lot more plump and round. If you look at Mario in the front there, he's got the chubbier cheeks and his ears and everything just has these very smooth and rounded edges. Even if, I mean, we haven't got there yet, but like if you look at his cart, it is a lot more sort of a squished version of the sort of base cart that is in Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe. Now, could be a different cart entirely, but it almost looks like they just took everything and, squished it, compressed it a little bit, and everything went.
Yeah, it does look like the characters are bigger compared to their carts, whereas in 8, it was more proportional, as if we were to hop in a cart. So I never actually noticed that until you pointed that out. I can kind of see the cutesy plump look that they were talking about. Interesting. DK looking more like the movie counterpart, which is actually based off the older DK. That makes sense. I feel. I think they're trying to get there for a while.
I certainly don't hate that. I'm all for a new artistic direction as well. So.
Rosalina's cart seems to have these new tank tires. Interesting.
Yes, this is something that could be an interesting development in the past if you wanted to maintain your speed and traction and things like that when you went off of the main track and onto the dirt parts or mud parts and things like that. You'd have to put a certain tire on. But I wonder if this maybe replaces that tire type or something like that.
Wonder if switching tires might be a mechanic in this one. That'd be like on the fly kind of thing.
Well, and Mario Kart 8 did that for you, right? Between the underwater
and the anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity, exactly. The tires would just kind of, which I always was kind of like, I mean, half the time I just never even noticed it. So I was kind of like, whatever about it.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right. That is not what you think it is. That little drawing in red.
EGAD, actually lucky too. Yeah.
Yep. EGAD might be in the roster, which is pretty cool. But then someone says, never mind. People are telling me this is Lakitu.
Next one, Peach seems to be wearing her dress while on a bike. That is interesting.
Yes, in Mario Kart 8, of course, she wears sort of a race suit.
Mhm.
All the characters that are not in clothes or whatever
Yeah,
that are in a
in a
dress
dress.
of
Yeah,
some sort are in more of a race suit style
that's
thing.
true.
Yeah.
That is interesting. And then there's a mysterious item seen
Oh,
on the diner on the map.
I love that
We're
diner.
really enhancing now. And
We are.
for those listening, there's like a screenshot of that Yoshi diner that was on the right side. Mysterious item.
Hmm.
Uh, and a new map seems like a desert map. Now, I'll touch on this now, but I've seen chatter online that this
Yes.
Mario Kart might go up to 24 players because if you count the beginning where it does the overview drone, there's like
Hmm.
24 of those little cart starting maps, and these maps or these tracks are very wide, and your characters are very small. so
Hmm.
so maybe there's like some sort of bigger, like, yeah, bigger races, which is always fun.
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
Absolutely.
let's
Chaos.
see. Yeah, there's a few. Ooh, it seems like there's a ramp on the map. Maybe the maps are just bigger. It seems like the
Yeah.
maps are going to be a lot
This
bigger.
the two screenshots that you've got here. What was it? Puro Artistico is
Mhm.
pointing out some of the track in the background,
Oh,
and in the first image,
yep.
I I almost get the feeling that that is just set dressing. I don't really think that that's part of the track. I think it's just a thing you drive by kind of thing.
Hmm.
But in the second one there, I think you do pretty clearly see the track sort of bending and twisting up on some of the landscape, which makes me wonder if they are bringing back the sort of gravity wheels, because that's, in Mario Kart 8, that was a consistent theme of when the track went loop de loop or up and down and et cetera, et cetera, the tires
Totally.
would do the gravity thing. So,
Totally. Yeah, I really like that anti-gravity thing where when you're playing it doesn't make too much difference, but
mhm.
visually it looks very cool.
True, true.
Seems like there's 3 different paths to a go. And yeah, the carts are more detailed.
Hmm.
24 racers, like we touched about in the beginning.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think, yeah, that's about it for the Mario Kart thread. So thank you, Puro Artistico, for putting that together. Definitely pointed out some interesting things. In the chat, if you noticed anything else, anything we missed, let us know. But yeah, I'm excited for Mario Kart. Like, we're gonna get it day one. This is probably gonna be a launch game, so
And
I'll
and
probably grab it.
and I mean that's the thing. Like I say that Mario Kart would get me in on day one. I mean, as you mentioned at the top of the show, we live in a different economic time than we did when the Wii U or the Switch was out, originally out. So I don't necessarily know if I will get it day one, regardless of
Mm,
Mario Kart. But if I had to pick, honestly, if I had to pick two games or franchises launching with the Nintendo Switch 2 that would get me in, they are Animal Crossing and Mario Kart. So
there you go. And I'm
yeah,
sure both those games will be on the Switch too.
it's true.
Speaking of games, as our last topic of the show today, and if you're still listening in the chat, let us know what your answer of this question might be. What is your dream game to have on the Switch 2? So we're talking about portable, still dockable, of course, uh, powerful enough to run most things, probably 90% of games that are out today, and maybe like, will there be a multiplayer kind of mechanic? I don't know. What would your dream game be?
I mean, you got to go first
All
because
right,
I
let
I
it stew.
honestly, like I said, I think mine have to be Animal Crossing and Mario Kart. Those are my two Nintendo franchises that I consistently will come back for. So
Mhm, mhm.
now, are we talking outside of Nintendo too?
Yeah, any game.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
future, maybe one that already exists.
Okay.
All right, if I had to pick one, hmm, obviously I'm definitely looking forward to the Pokemon game. Looking
Hmm.
forward to the next 3D Mario, Zelda, of course. Um, Maybe I'll go third party. I would love to have like a Call of Duty that works well on the Switch. Just sometimes, and I've tried this on my phone. I downloaded Call of Duty Mobile.
Oh
It's
sure.
not the same. I
Yeah.
just want to pick up something in like I think we're talking about like
Pop some
Concord.
heads.
Yeah, and just click some heads, like
Yeah.
get the frustration out, get some achievements, something maybe not necessarily Call of Duty, but some kind of like shooter that feels good, looks good.
Hmm.
Could be online. Well, I mean, with how connected we are, I think online would work really well.
Hmm.
But yeah, something like sometimes I'm just in the mood to click some heads.
Yeah.
Recently, I re-downloaded Fortnite, and maybe I'm looking forward to Godzilla.
Ooh.
But sometimes it just feels good to click some heads.
Hmm.
Um, Jordan, I'm gonna ask for yours in a second, but I want to shout
That's
out
fine.
Ryan in the chat who says, "F Zero, give us a good dead IP." You had me at F Zero. F Zero is also kind of scratching that itch. It's like something fast, cool,
Yeah.
racing. I don't know. I feel like F Zero might happen, but racing games, yeah, everyone just wants Mario Kart. But F Zero would
Yeah.
be one to bring back, especially with like how nice games look nowadays. I think they can do something cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you say that because, I hearken back to the PlayStation 3 era when Wipeout, which I mean, for all intents and purposes, is the same thing as F-Zero but on
Oh yeah.
PlayStation,
Yep.
and Wipeout HD. Literally, they just put HD in the name, in the title, because they were like, that's how good this thing looks. So they called it Wipeout HD, and it came out on the PS3. And man, oh man, I love a good futuristic hover ship high speed racer kind of thing. So I could get into and behind F Zero, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's actually funny because when you were talking about this, I was trying to think, and I'm stuck in that mode of thinking. I'm used to more of a remote play. I'm not used to playing locally. Of course, I got a PlayStation Portal a little while ago, and so I'm used to sort of beaming my games to the device rather than playing them natively, where the performance in theory would be just fine. So I would love any sort of Twitch-based shooter, like you say. I mean, you brought up Halo earlier. That would be pretty sweet if we could play Halo on a dedicated
That's
handheld like
true.
that.
Oh man, just
Um,
Blood Gulch. That'd be nice.
totally, totally. But I love a good action adventure as well. I mean, realistically, I'm sure the natural inclination is to say, well, Zelda. Um, but I'd love to play like a Dragon Age or something like that. You know, even something a little more third person shootery and Uncharted, something like that. Obviously, not going to happen because Sony, but
What?
that
No.
kind of thing that could be a lot of fun to play there. So
Yeah, like a story mode or like more of just third person.
yeah, yeah,
We'll play
yeah.
Marvel Rivals on it. Don't
Good point. Good
worry.
point.
Speaking of shooters and that kind of
Hmm.
stuff, Ryan in the chat brings up also, if the mouse is real, give me The Sims. I forgot to
Yeah,
mention the
we didn't
mouse.
touch on that. We talked about hardware specs, but we didn't talk about features, I guess.
Yes. So the one new feature that was
Rumored.
talked about, rumored, was this part in
Mhm.
the trailer where it seems the Joy-Con snaps onto like that little cover piece and they start sliding around on the ground.
Mhm.
So I think most people online have guessed that there's going to be some sort of optical mouse features.
Mhm.
I don't know. I have to grab a Joy-Con and actually like feel if that is even a nice way to hold the mouse. And will it make the table dirty, or hold the Joy-Con like a mouse? And will it make the table
Right.
dirty and scratch and all that? But if there is a mouse, Ryan says The Sims would be really cool. Maybe a game like Civilization
Mhm.
on your TV. Like that game already has so much going on your TV, would be nicer to look at.
StarCraft?
StarCraft would be crazy. Could you like so what? You have one hand on the Joy-Con as the mouse, the other one with the other Joy-Con, and you're hitting macros, doing
That's
motion
right.
controls, to
That's
command your
right.
army. That'd
I
be
mean,
funny.
the funny thing about this is I feel like people are talking about this, especially with this trailer, because of this little section almost right in the middle where these Joy-Cons flip to their side and run around like little mice. And everyone's talking about
Mm-hmm.
this like it's confirmed.
The,
And
the mouse feature.
the mouse feature, and I really just, I have two theories. One, and the theory that I lean more towards, is this is a bunch of malarkey. They simply turned it on its side and said, "This looks like a cute little mouse," and was like, "Somebody animate that." And then they made the little Joy Cons go wee, 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 like little mice, and that's where it ends. That is my one theory, that there is no mouse functionality. Y'all are crazy, and it just looked like a cute little mouse, and that's it. And that's where the rumors started. I have a feeling somebody saw this. Somebody said, "Oh my god, I didn't know they were putting mouse features into this. And then somebody whispered it to their neighbor and whispered it to their neighbor. And then Nate the Hate online found out about it and said, mouse feature, and hit publish on the tweet. And everyone went, wow, he's been right before. So that's my one theory. My other theory behind this whole mouse thing is we harken back to the SNES with Mario Paint. I have the SNES Mario Paint mouse and mouse pad in a bucket
Oh,
over there.
yeah, yeah.
So Nintendo has done it before where it came with a, in a similar color scheme as the SNES. Yeah, there it is. That's the one I have. That top left image, or I mean, any of those really. It's all the same thing.
That's
But
crazy.
that was a controller that you used for Mario Paint, and it came with that mouse pad is actually hard plastic. It's not like a rubbery mouse pad mat that you find now. It's a hard plastic thing that does not bend.
Hmm.
And yeah, I have both of those sitting
Oh.
in a bucket just over there.
So
So,
what you're
anyways,
yeah. So
could
what you're
be
saying is there's going to be a Switch mouse pad as well that comes with this.
could maybe you turn the dock on its side.
Whoa,
Use
that's why
that.
it's round. I don't know.
That's right. That's right. But yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
those are my two theories. Number one, it's a bunch of BS and everyone's wrong. Number two, we're getting Mario Paint again.
Oh, Mario Maker 3 plus Mario Paint.
Oh, interesting.
Turn kids into composers? Or
Very
adults?
interesting. That would be a lot better way to control something like Mario Maker. Okay, you're convincing me. You got me with you hooked me there. I might be
All
on
right.
board.
All right. Hey, it was all Ryan. And we can play The Sims, StarCraft, Civ, what other mouse games? I'll finally be able to play my mouse and keyboard in front of the TV.
World of Warcraft.
That'd be crazy. A portable World of Warcraft?
First console version and
That'd actually be
portable.
insane.
That I might just have to re-up my sub. Blizzard, if you're listening, you might get me in if you do that.
All right. So are you a mouse believer now?
You guys are convincing me, honestly. you might have turned my opinion there.
That is amazing. Wow. Well, we covered a lot of Switch 2 speculation and rumors and whatever, confirmations, all that fun stuff. What do you think of the Switch 2 if you're still listening? If you are watching online, let us know in the comments below. Or if you are watching later in the comments on Spotify and on YouTube, wherever you are getting this. If you're watching live, shout out to Ryan and Mario for joining in. Thanks for being a part of this episode. Are you guys excited for the Switch 2? Because I am. I'm all in, baby. So April 2nd coming up.
We find out more.
Direct looks like. I want to know more about the games. I think that's what.
I mean,
That's what I wanna know.
what sells a console? It's software, right?
Mhm,
That's why
mhm.
Xbox can't sell a damn console.
Oh, it's got spicy. But thank you for listening. My name is Samson. I am on all the socials at Samson XP, as well as on Blue Sky at smsn.bluesky. All that. Jordan, where can people find you?
You can find me on all socials at Sir Dr. JM. That's Sir DRJM, especially Instagram and of course Blue Sky as well. I am Sir Dr. JM dot whatever it is. I don't know why they did that. It really
The
gets
dot
me.
dot the dot bisky
Yeah,
com,
like
dot social.
I guess it's free advertising for themselves to be like, hey, every time someone sees this, they know it's Blue Sky. They won't mistake it for the other thing, or I don't know. Anyways,
I think, and we're getting onto a tangent here at the 9th hour or whatever.
what do you think?
I believe it's the way it works. It's something called like it's like a F word. not that F word.
Whoa.
It's the way it's like a social network that's not centralized.
Oh, you're talking the fully qualified domain name, FQDN.
Something like that.
Perhaps.
Maybe?
It's an IT term. That's why I know it.
But it's like something like that where it's not actually in one place. So to be able to find that on Blue Sky, you have to add that little Blue Sky bit at the end.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Like Fendi, DeFi, something like that.
Interesting.
Anyways, speaking of where to find us, you can also find us at Grow Up Level Up on all the socials, on Blue Sky, like we mentioned, Instagram, where we are very active, and TikTok and all that fun stuff. So hit us up. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your Switch predictions are. Maybe we will follow up in a future episode. Like I said, next week, on Tuesday, we are going to be reacting to the New York Video Game Chronicle Game Awards, or also known as the New York Game Awards. So catch us right here on this channel on YouTube where you are listening. And then expect another episode next week on Friday when we post. That has been our switch to reaction video or reaction podcast for this week. And yeah, we hope you come back next time. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Jordan, do you have any wise words for us to close out for the week?
My wise words today come from Game Informer magazine, of course, legendary magazine. This is an issue that I should have looked up when this was published before I started talking. Okay, I don't know what issue this is, and most of the pages are ads, but I will show off the cover because it's one of my favorite covers. This is the Resistance 3 Game Informer cover, and I'm a huge fan of the Resistance series. My words of wisdom today will come from this magazine, and it will be that... Hold on. We as gamers are in an interesting position.
Awesome.
Thank you. Are we still live?
Nope, I think we're done. I'm going to end stream. Okay, cool. I think it's